646, your top stories here in our Sunrise Smart Start for Wednesday. This shootout involving a deputy near Batavia led to the arrest of a homeowner.
Well, deputies say they were initially called to this home on Lewiston Road just before 4 yesterday morning. And according to the Genesee County Sheriff's Office, the homeowner involved, 81-year-old Gregory Poole, had called in for an active burglary. Investigators say when the first deputy got to the scene, Poole shot at him. We're told the deputy then returned fire and found cover. Nobody was hurt in this shootout, though deputies say Poole had been hurt earlier while struggling with the suspected burglar. Poole was arrested at the scene, charged with reckless endangerment and menacing a police officer. The reported burglar has not yet been found.
In court, a judge did reject a plea deal on the table in the case for Avon's former police chief Joseph Gear. He is accused of falsifying records of his contracted time with the school district as an SRO, a resource officer. The judge rejected this plea, saying the government needed to find a case law to better to support a crime, specifically the charge of theft of funds from a federal program. While yes, he did resign as chief, to be clear, Gear has never been formally charged with anything.
A local substitute teacher accused of touching kids inappropriately at school, we've now learned, held various other positions at districts throughout our area. Robert Pettit, on your screen now, was arrested Friday, and a year ago, elementary school students reported him to staff at the Wheatland Chili Central School District, where he had been working as a substitute. They cited at least 4 cases of abuse during one day last spring, and he'd been there for 11 days during the previous school year. Now, Pettit was released after district leaders heard of the allegations, but before that, he'd also worked as a probationary teacher at the North Street School in Geneva for about a year. Then in January 2023, we're told he subbed for a day in Webster, and from 2020 to 2022, he'd worked in Spencerport. It's unclear right now if there could be any further victims, but the investigation is ongoing. Of course, we'll keep you updated as this case unfolds on air and online at rochesterfirst.com.
The man who was responsible for a deadly crash while driving drunk in the fall is going to spend 1 to 3 years in prison for what happened. This September crash left 51-year-old Gene Culp dead. Culp pulled his tractor trailer off to the side of Lexington Avenue in Rochester to fix a problem with the vehicle. That's when Jeff Eden, who was going west on Lexington, hit Culp and pinned him up against the trailer. Culp died on scene. Eden later pled guilty to DWI and vehicular manslaughter. The latest we know on this Memorial Day deadly crash in Cayuga County. The sheriff's office identifies the victim as 37-year-old Enolio Cortez Lejeune. 4 others were taken to the hospital. 2 have been released. 1 is still in critical condition. There was a pickup truck and a tractor trailer that collided at routes 370 and 38 in Victory. The sheriff says the driver of the pickup ran through a stop sign and that caused the crash.
Jury deliberations expected to start today in that hush money criminal trial of former President Donald Trump. In the closing arguments yesterday, Trump's defense team questioned the credibility of former fixer Michael Cohen, calling him the greatest liar of all time. Well, the prosecution hit back, telling the jury this case is not about Cohen, it's about Trump, who they say falsified business records, trying to hide payments to adult film star Stormy Daniels.
The lights are back on in Brighton after a faulty switch was blamed for a power outage affecting more than 3,000 RG&E customers for several hours yesterday. Traffic signals at 12 corners were also out. The power has also been restored for all traffic lights in the area. That is good news to hear. It's tough enough to get people to treat one light out as a 4-way stop, let alone 12 ways of traffic. Your current updates here on our road conditions at 6:50. Crash reported at Jefferson Avenue, Frost Avenue, with first responders on scene. Another one nearby Ford Street and Boys Club Place. The expressway is all green right now. We'll keep that updated for you coming up again at 7:25. There is another budget vote looming in Rush-Henrietta as leaders in the school district meet to decide what's next. They had a meeting last night after their spending plan was rejected last week by just 15 votes.
Yeah, pretty surprising, as the only school budget in our entire region to fail. So now the options are pretty limited. Aron Spitzer bringing us the details of this new potential plan. Aron.
The board has decided to create a revised budget proposal for the public to vote on next month. Members of the board for the school district tell us they were surprised the first budget proposal did not pass. But after receiving feedback, they realized there was misinformation and overall uncertainty about new administration positions being introduced. For one, there were rumors the superintendent would receive a more than 80% increase in salary, but it was actually a 2.7% increase. The budget also proposed new positions to be added, like coordinator of recruitment and retention, clerical support for CTE director, and technology teaching assistant. Those positions will not be added in the revised budget. A resident within the district attended last night's meeting and tells News 8 they were confused why the original budget did not pass.
The first time ever since we've been out here to 22 years that a budget has not passed. So just want to look and see why it was not passed. I know my son had a great experience. As a parent, I had a great experience, and with all the building and everything going on, I'm not understanding why the budget was not passed. After reviewing it and for the little information, from my understanding, it doesn't look like it's anything that's extenuating. That's really not heavy on the residents of Henrietta.
The new budget total is $170.2 million instead of $171.6 million and will be voted on June 18th. Guys, back to you.
We'll be following those results. Ron, thanks. With so much growing community frustration regarding rising property values in Rochester, some city council members are putting on a series of meetings hoping this will help people better understand the reassessment process and to stop the spreading of bad info. These meetings allow the public to voice concerns and ask questions. There was one of these last night. Councilmember Willie Lightfoot tells us he hopes the takeaway from these town halls is leading to facts.
That's the problem. There's not a whole lot of information that is public concerning your reassessment. We're hearing from various meetings we've had and speak to council sessions that we had that people are being asked to FOIL their assessment. Well, I think that's ridiculous. You don't have to FOIL paying your taxes. So why should you have to FOIL your assessment?
There is some information available on the city's official government website, but Lightfoot says the issue is not everyone has internet access. There's another in-person meeting scheduled for Tuesday.
Federal officials now offer Western New York counties a potential helping hand trying to clean up these properties and brownfield sites. Eyesores just completely grown over is what they're being called, sometimes hazardous, and contaminations. The federal government has allocated $1.5 million each to Seneca and Livingston counties, trying to turn these locations into more useful properties. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer was there saying that the potential of these spots is hidden by unflattering exteriors and they can come alive again.
A proposed bill in Albany would allow independent cideries and distilleries to ship directly to customers, just like wineries and liquor stores. Advocates have predicted a boom if this happens for the fruit, grain, and potato industries, which distilleries invest heavily in for ingredients. They also cite past experience and results as distilleries were able to ship directly during the pandemic years.
Yeah, interesting there. Well, maybe you want to grab a brew for festival season. The summer fun is just starting with one of the most popular art events coming back to our area very soon, Fairport Canal Days. Now that starts Friday. A chicken barbecue will kick things off with vendors officially opening Saturday and Sunday. The Friday barbecue is going to be at 4:30, running until 9. And then Saturday, the main festival opens at 10, closes at 6. And then Sunday is the last day, open at 10, ending a little earlier at 5.
And soon enough, a lot of music will be filling the air around the Rochester Public Market. That'll be weekly for a month this summer. The annual Band on the Brakes concert series has shows every Friday, July 5th through August 9th. We do have the full lineup as well. The first night is a Latin night. Other headliners this summer, the Zach Brown Tribute Band and Giant Panda Gorilla Dub Squad. For the full list of performances and times, you can find that at rochesterfirst.com.
News 8 also partnering with Lollipop Farm for a pet food pantry drive, and we need your help. So drive on up to our station Thursday, June 6th from 4:30 to 6 and donate what you can. Pet food, anything you can put forward might be entered for a chance to win 2 free tickets to the biggest game of the year in Orchard Park. Bills versus Chiefs. There you go. It's all part of our Founders Day of Caring when we try to give back to our local community. You can find a full list of everything that's needed over at Lollipop, their donations, rochesterfirst.com. You know, hey, I love this for us, love this for the pets, and even for our viewers who might bring in some food, you might get a chance to go see the Bills.
Yeah, and I love that photo there too. We should have squeezed on one of their pigs that they have.
They've got so many fun animals over there. They need homes, they need love.
Yes, you can do all of that. All right, forecast getting out the door.
Mid-60s will eventually get there. Pretty cool. I'd say hoodie and jeans if you can pull it off. Clouds to sun as we get later today, and then we are rewarded. Next several days just look great. Tomorrow, still struggling in the temperature department, 40s to mid-60s there, but it's under sunshine. More sun on Friday. Probably my favorite day of the week there. And then Saturday looks fantastic going into Sunday.
And then next week, that is June saying, I'm here, guys.
Here we go.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks for watching us this morning for Wednesday at Sunrise. We'll see you back here in half an hour.
Have a great day. Stay tuned for CBS Mornings.
Follow News 8 wherever you are on RochesterFirst.com, Facebook, Twitter, and on our app for news and weather.